After transmigrating into a book, I became the affectionate second male lead in an abuse novel. I knew exactly every point at which the male lead humiliated the female lead. He would secretly tamper with her college application just to make the supporting female lead happy, cause trouble where the female lead worked part-time to make her lose her job, and refused to use protection, leading to her losing her fertility. And the so-called crematorium of regret was just the female lead refusing to reconcile with him at the grand finale, turning instead into the arms of me, the second male lead. How ridiculous. Right now is the first agonizing point of the entire novel. The male lead is accusing the female lead of theft in front of the whole class. Gigi bit her lip, looking at me with anxious eyes, completely at a loss. Lu Yen, can you testify for me? I really didn't steal anything. This was also the starting point of the female lead developing feelings for me. I didn't even need to testify for her. A light I believe you would be enough to successfully complete the task. Facing her tear-filled eyes, I calmly turned away, avoiding her gaze. Sorry, I wasn't in the classroom at noon, so I can't testify for you. Gigi's eyes dimmed instantly. A smug look flashed across Fong Siwen's face. He put his hands in his pockets, leisurely walked up to Gigi, and spoke with contempt and pity. Gigi, I know your family is poor, but no matter what, you shouldn't steal Nyanyan's things. Do you know that jade bracelet is a relic left by her grandmother? Su Nyanyan stepped out from behind Fong Siwen. With tears in her eyes, her voice trembled as she asked, Gigi, that jade bracelet is really important to me. I can give you 100,000 yuan, can you please return it to me? The classmates around began to whisper among themselves, is it real? Gigi would actually do such a thing? She doesn't even return to the dormitory to sleep every noon. I thought she loved studying, but it turns out she was planning to steal her classmates' things. After all, coming from that kind of trashy place. It's no surprise that someone from the slums likes to steal. Amidst the murmuring, Gigi stubbornly straightened his back. He clenched his teeth and fists, saying, it really wasn't me, I didn't steal anything. If you don't believe me, you can check the surveillance cameras. Fong Siwen sneered, Gigi, what are you pretending for? You clearly know that the classroom camera broke the day before yesterday. Nyonieo already said she would give you 100,000, can you stop putting on an act? Su Nyonieo also spoke up softly and gently, that's right, Gigi, that bracelet isn't worth much, it's just very important to me. If you think the money is not enough, I can add more. Everyone still has self-study, let's not disturb everyone because of this trivial matter. I looked at the watch on my wrist, it was 13:05. In 5 minutes, the homeroom teacher would walk through the door. Then, Gigi, Fong Siwen, and Su Nyonieo would be called to the office. That jade bracelet was of great value. Even if the homeroom teacher usually favored Gigi, it would be impossible to just gloss over it. Gigi's mother would be summoned to the school. As soon as she entered the office, she slapped Gigi hard across the face. Then, like a flattering lapdog, she fawned and apologized to Fong Siwen and Su Nyonieo. Young master, young lady, I am so sorry. It's my fault for not raising my child well. This boy Gigi is just like his irresponsible father, his character has been bad since childhood, and it's useless no matter how many times I scold him. Then she turned to glare furiously at Gigi, you little beast, hurry up and apologize to the young master and young lady. Where did you hide the thing? Return it to them quickly. She was a vegetable seller in the wet market, born with a loud voice. Her furious yet flattering roars could be heard throughout the entire building. All of Gigi's previous denials and persistence were completely shattered by her. Even if Su Nyonieo's butler came to school the next day to apologize, saying the bracelet was found in the bedroom, it would be of no avail. Gigi was completely labeled as someone with bad character and a person with dirty hands. Wherever he went, whispers and gossip followed him. And Fong Siwen's apology for this was nothing more than bringing her breakfast for an entire semester. At this moment, the homeroom teacher was still on his way. Fong Siwen said impatiently, Gigi, how about I add another 500 yuan? You shouldn't be too greedy. The surveillance camera is working fine. He froze, what? I spun the pen in my hand once, then let it rest steadily on my fingertips. Looking at Fong Siwen, I said, the surveillance camera is working fine, it was just out of battery. I put in new batteries yesterday. Su Nyonieo's face turned slightly pale, and she forced a smile, saying, we are all classmates, there's no need to check the surveillance. As long as you apologize, Gigi, I will forgive you. Fong Siwen frowned and said, Gigi, even if we look at the footage, you will be the one embarrassed. I want to see it. Gigi's face was pale, but her eyes were very bright. She stared intently at the faces of Fong Siwen and Su Nyonieo. Her voice was thin, as if squeezed out of a narrow throat, sounding a bit sharp and piercing. I didn't steal anything. I want to check the surveillance. 5 minutes later, the homeroom teacher appeared at the door. He scanned the classroom, frowned, and asked, "What are you all arguing about?" After hearing the whole story, he instructed the other students to do self-study, then took the 3 of them to the office to check the surveillance footage. Half an hour later, the 3 returned to the classroom. Gigi's face was still somewhat pale, but her back was straight. Fong Siwen had a wooden face, not saying a word. The most interesting one was Su Nyonieo, who walked at the very front with an air of composure, wearing a just as expected expression. The homeroom teacher said, "All right, let's continue with the class." The moment he turned around and his electronic pen touched the whiteboard, I spoke up softly, asking curiously, "Teacher, so was that bracelet really stolen by student Gigi?" The homeroom teacher's gaze stopped on me. Even Gigi clenched her pen tightly and looked at me. I just shrugged with a smile. Smiling, she said, "After all, he is my deskmate. If he really has a habit of petty theft, I must hide my things carefully." Foolish guy, he thought he had proven his innocence, so he sat down comfortably and opened his textbook. Little did he know, because of Su Nyonieo's arrogant expression, he was still a thief in the eyes of his classmates. Su Nyonieo frowned, clearing her throat to say something. Before the words could come out, they were drowned out by another low voice. The bracelet wasn't taken by Gigi. Fong Siwen looked at me, saying each word clearly. He was sitting in his seat the whole afternoon, never leaving. Is that so? I smiled leisurely, then it seems I don't need to change to a new deskmate. Su Nyonieo suddenly sobbed, tears streaming down her face. It's all my fault. I accidentally accused Gigi. I nodded, it indeed is your fault. Why bring such expensive things to school for no reason? Today you accused Gigi, who will you accuse tomorrow? As soon as these words were spoken, the classroom immediately went into an uproar. Someone whispered, "Exactly, if it's so precious, why bring it to school? What if it accidentally gets damaged, will we be forced to pay for it?" Just now, when she came back with that arrogant face, I really thought Gigi had stolen it. Su Nyonieo covered her face with her hands, sobbing through her fingers, looking as if she was about to collapse. Fong Siwen said angrily, "Lu Yen, Nyonieo has already apologized. What more do you want?" I tilted my head and asked, "Fong Siwen, do you like Su Nyonieo?" "Why you, don't talk nonsense. I only see Nyonieo as a younger sister." His face flushed red, his voice suddenly spiking as he glared at me in anger. I raised both hands in a surrender gesture. I was just joking. All right. The homeroom teacher tapped the blackboard with dissatisfaction. "Stop making a scene. The class is about to turn into a marketplace. Go to class, everyone calm your minds and focus on studying. Even if it meant listening to the teacher." After class started, I sat at my desk, propping up my head and dozing off. Suddenly, something touched my arm. It was a thick math notebook. Looking sideways, Gigi was pursing her lips, focusing intently on the lecture. Her knuckles holding the pen were clenched so hard they turned slightly pale, and there was a thick callus on her middle finger where the pen rested. After marrying Fong Siwen, these calluses gradually softened and fell off. In the end, the young girl who once finished pile after pile of exam papers became a noble lady with long, pale, delicate fingers, never having to touch cold water. I let out a soft snort and pushed the notebook back. No need, I turned my head to the other side to continue sleeping. Perhaps out of guilt, the next day Fong Siwen brought breakfast for Gigi. Gigi refused him, saying, "No need, keep it for yourself." Fong Siwen stood there awkwardly, holding a rice ball and freshly squeezed juice bought from a convenience store, a hint of irritability flickering between his brows. "Siwen doesn't eat these things," Su Nyonieo said with a smile. "We always eat the breakfast prepared by the maid at home." She added considerately, "Siwen, Gigi probably isn't used to eating these. Why don't you have the driver buy some roadside buns and soy milk for her next time?" Gigi tried to explain, "I am. Eat it or not, up to you." Fong Siwen interrupted her impatiently. He threw the breakfast in his hand onto Gigi's desk and pulled Su Nyonieo back to their seats. "If you don't eat it, throw it in the trash can." In the original book, Fong Siwen's breakfast was indeed thrown into the trash can by Gigi. The morning self-study bell rang, leaving only the rustling sound of pen nibs writing on paper in the classroom. After a moment, I heard Gigi beside me sniffle very softly. She's still just a little girl, after all. I sighed, taking the slightly deformed rice ball and juice that had been thrown onto her desk. "Hey, I didn't eat enough this morning. Can I trade my milk for this?" No, she looked up at me in surprise, her washed eyes large and bright, stammering, no need to exchange, I'm not hungry, you can just take it. How could she not be hungry? Helping her mother set up a stall at the vegetable market since 4 in the morning, she had to take the number 3 bus at 6:15 a.m. to school. Since the school provided free lunch and dinner, Gigi only ate 2 meals a day. Often when waking up in the morning, her stomach was completely numb. During puberty, Gigi was as thin as a bamboo pole that would blow over in the wind. Yet despite this, she still felt her dignity was more important than an empty stomach. Stretch out your hand, I said coldly. I don't like owing favors. Bartering is good for both you and me. Gigi blinked. Finally, she reached out her hand and took the bottle of milk. Fong Siwen suddenly kicked the table hard from behind. Pretending not to hear, I secretly tore open the rice balls wrapper under the table and took a bite. Cheese chicken meatball, it was quite delicious. As soon as class was over, Fong Siwen called Gigi out. I went to the restroom to wash my hands first, then slowly walked to the corner, holding a vocabulary book, openly eavesdropping. Fong Siwen asked, if you don't want to eat what I gave you, that's fine, but why did you give it to Lu Yen? Gigi replied, you already gave it to me, it's none of your business how I deal with it. Fong Siwen fell silent for a few seconds. Gigi, I just wanted to apologize. Nyonieo's bracelet was found in her bedroom last night. It must have accidentally slipped off while she was sleeping. I didn't mean to wrongly accuse you. Gigi said, Fong Siwen, you don't need to explain to me, nor do I care for your apology. She pushed past Fong Siwen and walked back to the classroom. Fong Siwen stared at her back with an unreadable expression. Standing alone for a moment, he then turned to leave. I had seen enough of the drama. As soon as I turned around, I saw Su Nyonieo standing behind me, arms crossed, her gentle face clouded with darkness. Did I remember incorrectly? If student Su doesn't confess soon, Fong Siwen might change his mind. Why should I confess? He gave me a strange look. I don't even like him. Then why are you targeting Gigi? He sneered, if a dog that used to follow you around every day suddenly wags its tail at someone else, how would you feel? I said, I wouldn't feel anything. It's just a dog, why should I care who it wags its tail at? Su Nyonieo froze, silenced for a few seconds, then asked gloomily, do you men just like girls like Gigi? Like what? Poor, pretty, like a pitiful little white lotus. I said, first, I don't think Gigi is like a white lotus. Second, I don't like white lotuses either, they are too easily broken. Then what do you like? I like vicious flowers, extremely evil flowers with a strong fragrance, just like you. I slowly asked, so, how about considering me? You're crazy. Su Nyonieo's cheeks flushed pink from anger. He gave me a harsh glare and ran back to the classroom. Fong Siwen did not lose heart because of Gigi's rejection. He seemed determined to win Gigi over, sending her breakfast for an entire semester. All of these items were handed over by Gigi directly into my stomach, though of course, what I gave her in return wasn't cheap either. As the semester passed, Gigi's face finally filled out a bit, and her height shot up, easily exceeding 170 centimeters. The original novel described her as petite, but now, she no longer had anything to do with that word. Women must be strong and powerful, so they can strike back against malicious thugs and boldly walk their own paths. Gigi and I maintained a lukewarm relationship. Aside from exchanging breakfast daily and occasionally copying her homework, we had no private interactions. Today, after exchanging breakfast, Gigi suddenly stopped me, Lu Yen, her eyes flickered with avoidance. She said with some difficulty, could you lend me some money? With my hands in my pockets, I calmly asked her, how much? 100,000. She spoke softly, then hurriedly explained, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. Although she got into a clinical trial group, we still need to pay the initial treatment costs ourselves. I know it's very sudden and presumptuous to ask you for such a large sum, but I really can't think of anyone else to turn to. I can write you a promissory note and pay you back as soon as the insurance reimbursement comes through. Gigi's mother was named Ji Sanjin. Gigi didn't originally have the surname Ji, she was renamed by the furious Ji Sanjin after her father eloped with the neighbor's wife. To escape the gossip of those around them, Ji Sanjin took the young Gigi and left their hometown to settle down in this unfamiliar city. She hated Gigi for carrying that man's blood, hated her for being a girl, and hated her for failing to keep her husband. Yet, despite her hatred, she still worked from dawn till dusk every day to provide for her. Ji Sanjin was watering a flower she loathed, and when she collapsed, this flower also wanted to use its fragile stem to support her. In the original plot, the person Gigi borrowed money from was Fong Siwen. Because Fong Siwen was willing to apologize for falsely accusing her and even sent her breakfast for a whole semester, she felt that Fong Siwen was a good person. Most importantly, Fong Siwen's family was very wealthy. When she timidly made her request to Fong Siwen, he didn't say a word, only looking down on her with a cold glance. The very next day, he transferred the money into her account. Gigi joyfully transferred the money to the hospital. At that time, she had no idea that everything in this world comes with a price. From the moment she borrowed the money, the power dynamic between her and Fong Siwen began to reverse. They were no longer equals. Thus, even if she eventually repaid the money, Fong Siwen would always hold a life-saving favor over her. She became his. Lu Yen was originally a submissive and timid person. Even when his lifelong aspirations were altered, he could only silently accept it. I looked into Gigi's eyes, which were filled with tension and pleading, like a little deer accidentally caught in a hunter's trap. It could truly stimulate a man's desire to destroy and toy with her. I asked her, Gigi, 100,000 yuan, how many vegetables does your mother have to sell in the market to earn that? Her face turned pale. I continued with the next sentence, although my family has money, it doesn't fall from the sky. We are just ordinary classmates, having been deskmates for only 2 years. Why do you think I would lend you such a large amount of money? Furthermore, Gigi, borrowing money from a man comes with a price. I intentionally scrutinized her body from head to toe. I don't think you can afford that price. Lu Yen, Gigi's eyes welled with tears, and she questioned in a soft voice, if you won't lend it, then so be it, why do you have to humiliate me like this? I let out a cold snort from my nose, turning my head to flip through the book in front of me. This was the truth. Throughout the class, Gigi was in a daze, not saying a word. Probably having overheard our conversation, after class, Fong Siwen called Gigi out again. He said to her, I can lend you this money. Gigi's eyes were still slightly red as she asked, what are your conditions? Fong Siwen remained silent for a moment and then said, in the future, don't give the breakfast I give you to Lu Yen anymore. Is it really that simple? It's just that simple. Gigi bit her lip, standing still for a moment. Thank you, but there's no need, she said. Lu Yen is right, borrowing money from a man is not a good thing. Sometimes, what is free is the most expensive. Fong Siwen paced back and forth somewhat anxiously, lowering his voice. Gigi, what time is it that you are still holding on to your pride? What weight do Lu Yan's words carry? Can he make your mother get better? She is the mother who gave birth to and raised you. Quickly taking the money to save her is the most important thing right now. Gigi. I will find a way. Find what way? Fong Siwen blurted out without thinking, that is 100,000 yuan, who could give it to you for free? Going to sell yourself? Then why not just sell yourself to me alone? Slap. Fong Siwen was slapped so hard his face turned to the side. Gigi pulled back her slapping hand, her eyes blazing with anger. Fong Siwen, shut your dog mouth and get lost. My family's business has nothing to do with you. Fong Siwen fell silent for a moment, then suddenly sneered, you really don't know what is good for you. He raised his hand, intending to grab Gigi's neck tightly. What? Hard to handle, are we? I stepped out from the shadow and said to Gigi, Gigi, the homeroom teacher is looking for you. Gigi gave me a complicated look. Without a word, her pale face tensed as she ran away. Fong Siwen glared at me gloomily, his tongue licking the cheek that had just been slapped. Lu Yen, why are you everywhere? I said, I am sorry, I feel the same way. He became even gloomier. Are you interested in Gigi? Not interested. Then why do you always interfere? That is right, why? I laughed, repeating his words, and nodded to myself, maybe because I am an envoy of justice? Fong Siwen said, our two families cooperate in business, why do you have to go this far? I replied, I do not understand business, I am just a high school student. However, I do have a question to ask. I wonder if you can satisfy my curiosity. Go ahead. I smiled with squinted eyes and asked, Fong Siwen, does your father treat your mother like this too? 5 minutes before the class bell rang, Gigi returned to the classroom. Her gaze swept past Fong Siwen, who was talking to Su Nyonieo. What is wrong with him? His face looks so terrible. I let out a soft huff, who knows? Gigi collected herself and asked me, Lu Yen, did you tell the homeroom teacher about my family's situation? I did not answer directly, only asking, what did he want with you? Gigi said, he told me not to worry about that matter anymore. Study hard, he will find a way to help me get this money. I responded lukewarmly, congratulations, you don't have to borrow money everywhere anymore. Hesitating for a moment, Gigi whispered, Lu Yen, thank you. I curled my lips, ignoring him. In the next second, I took out my phone from my pocket and transferred 100,000 yuan to the homeroom teacher. The teacher asked, "Do you really not want me to tell Gigi that you lent him this money?" I replied, "No need, you are the teacher. It's better if you give it to him." The teacher said, "Lu Yen, you are a good child." Being praised made my skin crawl, so I quickly turned off the phone screen. Transmigrating into a male supporting character has one sole advantage: I have a lot of money. Money can solve many problems, helping me stay warm and well-fed without having to run around. It helps me receive the best education and have more choices. I cherish this very much. Therefore, I am willing to deal with the minor troubles that this identity brings. Ji Sanjin still passed away in the end. His cancer was detected too late, any treatment plan was hopeless. Gigi did not go to school for several consecutive days. By the time he appeared again, his expression was exhausted, with a small black armband pinned to his shirt. I said to him, "My condolences." He didn't look at me, softly uttering a hum in response, bowing his head and spinning the pen in his hand. "Lu Yen." He whispered to me, "From now on, I only have myself." I said, 3 years ago, my parents were in a plane crash on their way to travel. I have always been alone too. Gigi was stunned, his lips trembling as he said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." I clicked the ballpoint pen, flatly replying, "It's all in the past." I wasn't a real high school student anyway, so of course, I could endure all of this. Gigi said nothing. A moment later, he asked in confusion, "Then don't you feel lonely?" Before waiting for my answer, he self-deprecatingly smiled. Because of my father, he always beat and scolded me. I could understand him, but I could not forgive him. Until he got cancer, I didn't feel anything at all, not sad, not grieving, and I even felt a sense of relief. But after he died, returning to that empty house alone every night, I actually found myself missing him a little. She bit her lip, looking at me anxiously, and asked, "Lu Yen, am I being very selfish?" In the original book, Gigi's mother was also not cured. After her death, Gigi wanted to return the reimbursed medical money to Fong Siwen. Fong Siwen refused to take it, instead offering Gigi gentle companionship and meticulous care. He brought her an umbrella when it rained, bought her clothes when it was cold, and even took full charge of her 3 meals a day. He wasn't a clever hunter, yet he successfully coaxed Gigi, who had just lost her mother, into his embrace. He didn't love Gigi, his obsession with her stemmed from the breakfast thrown into the trash can that semester and countless cold rejections. Gigi was a completely different person from him, a collectible he desired but could not obtain. People always develop a strange paranoia for things they desire but cannot have. Fong Siwen was exactly like this. He craved Gigi's love, but after obtaining it, he discarded this precious love like an old shoe. In the end, was he punished? Not at all. He inherited his family's company, married a new wife after divorcing Gigi, and fathered a bunch of children. The author used countless exquisite techniques to describe Fong Siwen's regret. He wrote about him facing his beautiful wife while his heart wandered back to that summer, thinking of Gigi's ponytail gently swaying as she sat in front of him. He wrote about him looking at his lively children, yet unconsciously remembering the embryo that Gigi had aborted. He wrote about his melancholy when reuniting with Gigi, suppressing his heartache to let her go, the regret of not letting go, and the blessing of pretending to be generous. How hypocritical. Why should a vested beneficiary only need to shed a single tear to make everyone forgive all of his actions? I asked Gigi, what is so bad about being selfish? In this world, women are always subjected to various forms of conditioning as they grow up. Fairy tales teach you to be kind, to be like the little mermaid who willingly turned into sea foam for her prince. Mothers teach you to be gentle and dignified, to be a good wife and loving mother who sacrifices everything for men. Later, after reading some other books, you realize that being too gentle and dignified is not enough. You also need to be well-read and refined, able to brew tea and recite poetry with men, yet you cannot be like them, romantic and passionate. They are keen on turning you into a good person, an exquisite and beautiful ornament. Because only in this way can they blindfold your eyes and block your way up. But Gigi, you cannot be like this. You cannot be their accomplice and blindfold your own eyes along with them. I said to Gigi, I believe the word selfish when applied to you should be an incomparably noble quality. Gigi, grow your own thorns, do not be a submissive sheep waiting to be slaughtered. Gigi stood there for a long time. She asked in confusion. Lu Yen, why are you able to say things like this? Who knows? I replied, maybe I was also a woman in my past life. Fong Siwen had still not given up on Gigi. Gigi's coldness and avoidance, like pouring oil on a fire, aroused his competitive nature. To make his stance clear, he actually took the initiative to distance himself from Su Nyonieo. During PE class, Gigi returned after running 1,500 meters. Fong Siwen quickly rushed over, holding up a cup of milk tea he had just bought. Gigi, are you tired? Do you want some milk tea? Before he could finish his sentence, the cold milk tea in his hand was snatched away by another hand. Su Nyonieo held the milk tea, her eyes turning red instantly. Siwen Gij, isn't this prepared for me? Fong Siwen showed an embarrassed look on his face. He hesitated for a moment and said, Nyonieo, I specially prepared this for Gigi. How about I buy you another cup? No need. Gigi walked straight past them without looking back. It's not good to drink cold things after exercising. Besides, if I want to drink, I'll buy it myself. Fong Siwen hurriedly said, then Nyonieo, you drink this cup. Gigi, let me buy you a hot cup instead, okay? Gigi paid him no attention and went straight back to the classroom to continue studying. Fong Siwen turned his head back in disappointment, only to meet Su Nyonieo's smiling face. Nyonieo. Fong Siwen, did you know? Su Nyonieo held the milk tea cup and said in a low voice, actually, I really hate it when others give me their leftovers. It makes me feel so cheap. She let go, and the milk tea cup fell to the ground, bursting like a water balloon. The warm liquid splashed in all directions. She brushed past Fong Siwen toward the academic building, leaving him standing there dazed and alone. After the college entrance examination ended, Fong Siwen went to study in Hong Kong because he failed. Su Nyonieo was admitted to Beijing Film Academy. This time, no one could change Gigi's aspirations, let alone her life. The day she received the admission letter, Gigi called me. Her voice carried an irrepressible excitement. Lu Yen, I got into University A. I went out to the balcony, leaned against the railing, and congratulated her. Gigi carefully asked me, Lu Yen, where do you plan to go to college? The moonlight tonight was beautiful. I was in a rare mood to say a few more words, going to the UK. Hearing this, Gigi fell silent. Only her soft breathing remained on the other end of the line, as if she was holding something back. I patiently waited for her to speak. Finally, she asked in a hoarse voice, will we ever have the chance to meet again? I sighed softly, Gigi, all right, I understand. Gigi's voice suddenly grew a bit sharp, but then she calmed down again, her voice trembling slightly. If we can't meet again, Lu Yen, I wish you peace, happiness, and smooth sailing always. She hung up the phone. I stood in the darkness, dazed for a few seconds. Suddenly, my phone received a bank notification for a deposit of 100,000, with a note, thank you. 8 years later, I received my doctorate and returned to the country to take over the family business. Suddenly remembering that I needed to verify something, I logged into my long-unused QQ account. Searching with difficulty through a mailbox full of spam and advertisements for the verification code, I accidentally discovered that Gigi had been sending me emails over the years. Hello, Lu Yen. Long time no see, I wonder how you are doing lately. My university life has been going well. I really like my professors, friends, and major, and I even received a scholarship. My professor knew about my family situation, so he proactively invited me to work in his laboratory. Although the monthly stipend isn't much, at least I don't have to worry about money anymore. I originally planned to work as a tutor, but now it seems I don't need to. After graduation, I found a pretty good job. The leadership favored me highly, so I quickly built a team of my own. Even though it's hard work, I feel so lucky because I get to do the job I love. During a social gathering, I ran into Fong Siwen again. He turned out to be our new client. He looked much sleeker than before, but his personality was still as obnoxious as ever. He even secretly asked me if I wanted to be kept by him. I directly threw a glass of wine in his face. The next day, I brought my resignation letter to my boss. But my boss did not approve it. He told me not to worry, saying the company would never sell out its employees. Sure enough, a few days later he told me to return to work, saying the company had terminated its partnership with Fong Siwen. That's so wonderful, Lu Yen. I thanked him, and I also thanked my own bravery. But the person I want to thank the most has always been you. It was you who shaped the most resilient core of my character during those brief 3 years, giving me the courage to choose my own path in countless life choices thereafter. Tonight, I had a dream. I dreamed that back in high school, I accepted Fong Siwen's confession. Under the guise of doing what was best for me, he took it upon himself to change my college applications, forcing me to major in the same field as him. I disliked that major, so my college years went by in a daze. After graduation, I married him and became a housewife. I even suffered a miscarriage because of him, forever losing the ability to become a mother. What a terrible nightmare. By the way, the Fong Siwen in my dream was different from the one in reality. He smiled more than the real you and was gentler to me. He was like a sponge, a good-tempered man who never got angry. He was like a puzzle piece, perfectly mending my shattered life in that dream. It was so perfect that it felt fake, making me feel incredibly relieved when I startled awake. Thank goodness it was just a dream, and thank goodness you are not him. Holding my coffee cup, I watched from dusk till dawn, my mouse hovering over the very last email. It was sent at 7 o'clock the morning before last, just as my flight back home touched down. I clicked to open it. Inside was only a single line, "Can we meet again?" Below was a string of phone numbers. Email is a wonderful thing. It shields you from seeing the trembling expression, the crumpled paper, and the tears accidentally dropped by the person on the other end. You only see the formal, rigid words and the blinking cursor, allowing you to click delete with absolutely no guilt. With one click, I emptied my inbox. There is no need to meet again. This world is vast, and Gigi is her own female lead. Her entire life doesn't need to be confined to the choices of a male lead or a second male lead. She can meet countless new people and embrace endless new possibilities. This is what I want to tell Gigi, and it is also what I want to tell myself. Goodbye, Gigi. Please walk forward and never look back.